Good day. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Keelan Siobhan Clark, and we are back with Confident on Camera. Today, I have with me a very special guest, Sean Douglas Stewart, and I brought him in here today because his philosophy is a lot like my philosophy, but he really focuses on bringing people to the stage. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about him, and then we're going to talk about what you're up to, Sean. Thank you so much for being here.
Love it.
Yeah. So Sean is a transformational business coach who helps coaches and speakers stand out as market leaders and attract consistent high ticket clients. Who doesn't want that? He's the founder of Rock Your Gift and the Rock Your Gift 3-day live seminar. Sean has been featured on NBC and in the New York Times and has shared stages with the biggest names in personal and business growth industries like Les Brown and Lisa Sasevich. With a background as a spoken word poet, which hopefully we'll see a little bit when you get all fired up. You kind of go into that. He's also a songwriter and a rapper. Sean electrifies audiences through his virtual and live events, where he brings a fresh approach to an oversaturated coaching space, which I agree. And I love your style because you bring your artistry into the coaching world, So thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome. So what we do is pretty similar, but you have been able to refine taking your artistry, your spoken word, your rapping, and then making it into a business that helps other entrepreneurs. So can you talk a little bit about your path?
Yeah, definitely. I have a background as a creative. Actually, my dad's an Academy-nominated screenwriter of films like Officer and a Gentleman, Blue Lagoon. I grew up in Hollywood. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I was always dreaming of making it in the creative space. So I put out, albums, and I put myself out there as spoken word poet. I did all kinds of things, but been on stages, for 20 plus years. And that was very successful. I was immediately I hit the spoken word scene before I even hit 20 years old, like pretty strong. I was winning poetry slams. I was working with producers and doing music. And then I put a band together and started to rock shows all around LA and New York and different places, like the Troubadour, like House of Blues and things like that. And so I was very committed to the goal of making it in the music space. And I did some songwriting and all kinds of stuff in that realm. And then in 2010, there was sort of a shift in me where it was like, there was a deeper calling that I needed to answer. And that was to help people be more successful in their lives. My lyrics had always reflected that desire to inspire and the desire to uplift and help. It wasn't like misogynist rap or anything. It wasn't Christian rap either. I mean, I just tell stories, but it's inspiring type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And basically, I felt like it wasn't enough to change the lives I wanted to change. I was really I started studying under Tony Robbins, and I started to envision being able to help people more directly. And so that led me towards the coaching space. And I jumped in, all in. I kind of put music aside in 2010. I moved to Hawaii and I went all in the coaching space. And then I built a practice, and I was working with a lot of clients one-on-one. I was starting to get my confidence. I wasn't charging a lot at that time, but I was working with people and starting to get my skill set down. So that's kind of the trajectory for me, really a path of creativity that then moved into helping people in the coaching space. And then at a certain point in 2017, the creativity piece started to call my name again. And it was like, it's awesome when you can feel the vibe of creativity wanting you to be a part of it. Like I had worked hard in it, I put it aside, and it just emerged in a strong way. And so in 2017, I launched the Rock Your Gift brand, which was really me putting my foot down and saying this is like this creative side of me. It has to be a part of the business. And I can't live in this life where I'm over here, rocking out at this hip hop concert, and I'm over here with this button up, working with clients in the business space. There's got to be a merge between the two. And it was something that nobody was giving me like any kind of training on. It was just something that I felt like I had to honor within myself. And in essence, what I found as I started to honor that was that it was a merging of my shadows, or it was a integration of parts. There was a part of me that felt that the creative rapper, spoken word artist was not professional and wouldn't be respected if I showed that side. So I was trying to put on a certain persona. And as you know, anybody knows, that's like heavy, and you start to feel like you don't want to show up to your work. You don't feel like you're really doing the work you're here to do. So when I put my foot down, it was kind of like I was in a desperate place, in the sense that I wasn't happy and I wanted to do something more aligned, but I was scared. So what I've typically done in my career is basically done something brave and gone towards that thing instead of backed up. And so I had a 3-day event in 2017 that I didn't at that time call it Rock Your Gift. I was going to be all about sales, but there were so many other people doing sales, and I knew that it was oversaturated and it was the same old, same old. I'm like, but I'm this rapper, I've got this gift. And so at a really sort of serendipitous evening at a previous music partner's record release party in Los Angeles, I got re-inspired by the energy of like the club and the music and the performance. And I was 3 months away from my event, and I pivoted entirely towards the Rock Your Gift direction. And I went towards this with like reckless abandon, where it was like, this thing is happening no matter what. And I didn't know what it was. I was just knew that it had to have my hip hop and rap in it. It didn't make sense because it couldn't be about just sales anymore. It had to be something new. And that is where like the magic really started to happen for me, because when I trusted that something new was supposed to emerge, something new emerged. And then I realized that that was the message. That actual experience of trusting that creative part, that innovative part, to actually birth something new became the centerpiece of what Rock Your Gift is all about. So it's like, trust that something new is supposed to emerge, and then a new message that you're here to share emerges behind that willingness to be brave and share that part of you.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you allowed your authentic creativity to come out. Shit got a little like not flowy when you were starving your artist, because I know all about starving my artist, right? Like, we're chasing the money and we're like, okay, artist, get out of here. But really it's about allowing that muse inside of us to come out. It sounds like you also took some courageous steps, and you keep trusting. And I'm recapping this because this is something I tell my audience over and over again. You know, like our steps to success are entwined in that. So thank you for modeling that in your story.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to share that.
Yeah. And what I love your brand, because I'm an old punk rocker, and I think that as coaches, and no matter where you are in your industry, you know, I work with musicians, I work with artists, I work with dog trainers, you know, I work with all kinds of entrepreneurs who I think are all artists, right? Like, there's an art form as a craft. And what I love about yours is, you know, you get to rock whatever your gift is. Like, you just go for the promise right away. And I think there's something really powerful in your branding that way, because it gets my attention every time. I'm like, yeah, I want to rock my gift, you know? And it's like you're giving people permission. And this is what I love to do too on video, is like, we get to give permission to people who just aren't necessarily ready, who haven't been ready before, to show up powerfully and authentically.
Yeah, I hear from people a lot that haven't had a modeling for their creativity. Like you said, creativity can be that you're like, you know, a painter or an artist, and it can be something that just brings you into that flow state. So I always want to clarify that we're all creative. We all have creativity, and it shows up in different ways, and it's your genius zone. But I stood for that with my brand and with my business, and it gave people permission to know that that part of them matters. And I think that, not that it just matters, but that they have permission to integrate it into their service. That's the piece that's really important to get, because the common thinking that goes around in the business growth and entrepreneurship space is that you basically don't matter. Like, your client matters, and what the problem is that you solve matters for them. And I remember watching a lot of trainings early on where it was like, where's the spotlight in the business? Like, is the spotlight on the product? Is the spotlight on you? Is the spotlight like, no, the spotlight's on your ideal client. You know what I mean? It's like their problem. And the product serves that, and you are the service, all that stuff. And while people understand that their personality matters from like a branding perspective, they understand that like they want to express and be unique and so forth. There's so much being said that is basically counter to the idea that what you are like in your private space matters in your business. It's so like nobody's saying, nobody's getting like, you know what, you should actually look at who are you when the business is not like when you're with your kids or when you're doing what you love, whatever it is, like who is that? And how come a lot of times people go, I'm grinding in the business, and then like, oh, I need a vacation so I can hang out with my family, or I need a break so I can go do my music or whatever. It's like, well, why is it that the business that you got into, which was to serve your purpose, is now like a job, in the sense that you basically like at a job, you're like, it's like when I see your job, like, let me go outside, like smoke a cigarette, like, cause I need my freedom moment, I could go back to the grind, like, right. Like that's like the concept that you have to have this place where you make your service, and this place where you get your freedom. And now I think the new paradigm that I'm wanting to inspire people with is the idea that your freedom and your business must integrate into one. Not that you can't go on vacations and stuff, but that why not bring that energy that brings you that sense of freedom inside of what you do every day? And not only will it make you feel happier, but your clients will feel better. They'll be more attracted to your work. You'll be inspiring for them or modeling for them what they really want, which is like a business that is fueled by their purpose and their passion. And ultimately, your message is gonna hit a lot more people with that. So that's the concept.
That's so awesome. And how do you do that? How do you get people started to do that?
So there's two parts to it. The first part is a viable business, and the second part is the integration. So if you don't have a viable business at all, I recommend, really getting clear on who it is that you help and what it is that you do for the people that you serve, and to really get down to what's your offer and, what is the transformation that you provide for the person that you serve, right? So going back to like the spotlight being on the client, there is a place for that. It's important that you understand who your ideal client is and that you build a really strong high ticket offer. I recommend, for instance, like creating an offer that is high ticket, but also leveraged, that is going to give you the free time to make a bigger impact, and also to do whatever you love, but also to have time to market and get your message out. Too many coaches and entrepreneurs are focused on delivering for their clients, but they're not creating the space to A, have the freedom they want, and B, to be able to actually market and do, the videos and do the different visibility things that are going to bring more people in. So that's what we're going to talk about in my upcoming challenge, around like a model that's going to create impact with group coaching, but also freedom in terms of the way that I've basically created it, which we'll get into in a sec. But to come back to your question, sometimes people come to me and they have zero business. They have zero clients. I work with mostly people that have some traction in the industry, like at least they're generating, let's say, $2,500 a month or something, right? So they do have some, but I've talked to a lot of people, and I've worked with a lot of people who are at the beginning point, and they've come to me and they're like, I want to rock my gift. Like, I want to like totally like bring my artistry in. And I'm like, but what's your product? Like, what are you selling? And they're like, yeah, but I just want to do something that's like integrating the two. It's like, it basically always look at it like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like if peanut butter was not quite yet like invented and it was just an idea, but you had jelly, it wouldn't make a good sense. Both of them need to be very, very well, like we like jelly, we like peanut butter, right? So you have business, it needs to be really well structured. And then we have creativity, and you need to be able to start to merge two wholes together, not two incompletes. So that's what we do in our work, is we want to make sure, and we do it pretty quickly. We help our clients get like within 90 days to 4 to 10 high ticket clients a month consistently type of thing. And once we've proven the concept, once we've got you a structure that allows you to have space, it's now time for you to look at some of the stuff that you do, like you do, right? So like we love to inspire our clients to, create events or create some kind of creative projects. I always look at it like if I'm doing a 5-day challenge, or if I'm doing a webinar, if I'm doing a virtual event, or if I'm doing a video series, these are like creative projects. Those are your marketing opportunities, really. And those marketing opportunities are where the peanut butter and jelly comes together. So if you have a clear product and offer, you can still integrate your artistry into your product, into your branding. For instance, like almost every call with my clients, we do some kind of get up and move your bodies and rap and get into that energy. So there's part of it into the delivery. But the bigger piece that I think is simpler to understand is that if you already have a proven offer in the marketplace, in order to stand out in your space, your marketing needs to bring that X factor or that creativity in. And so that's really where it's like step 1, get your viability. Step 2, integrate your creativity.
Yes. I love it. And I think that integrating the creativity is so important, because a lot of times we'll become entrepreneurs and then we're like, wait a minute. Like I come from corporate. I'm like, wait a minute. Why do I feel like I'm in corporate again? I created this. Like we create our own prisons again, So I love the creativity piece. Do you want to talk about your challenge that's coming up?
Yeah, definitely. So I was just speaking a few moments ago about this idea of viability, creating a leveraged offer in the marketplace. A lot of people have been either trained or tried or have some understanding of group coaching. It's commonly at least something that people want to do or something that they've tried and who have at least some experience in the coaching space, one to many type of stuff. That's great. But what I've found is that most people basically are upside down in their business with the way they've structured their service delivery. So that regardless of if you've tried group, you probably haven't done it in a way that's really sustainable. And so what I've seen is most people, they have mostly a one-on-one offer. And that's great because it's high ticket, or hopefully it's high ticket. I highly recommend a one-on-one high ticket offer. So I love that. And what I love, what I think is problematic is that when that's your only offer, and let's say you get on a sales conversation today, and that you got a lot of people in that, you're a little bit like in the back of your mind going like, I want the money, I want to help the person, but I don't know if I want to agree to 10 more hours in my schedule or whatever the thing is you're promising. Like it's a little bit, okay, I'll add them in to my already packed schedule. Or maybe you don't have that many one-on-ones, you're not charging that much, and it's just this idea of like, I want to get a lot of one-on-ones to grow my business. But if you're looking long-term, you realize that you're trading time for dollars. You realize that your time, which is your most valuable resource, is pretty much the offer. It's your time. And that's the old model, right? If we just start from the basics, the old model is the practitioner model, like a acupuncturist or a massage therapist or a therapist sits in a room, either puts your hands on somebody or just talks to somebody one-on-one. And you're like, I can see X amount of clients in a day because these are 50 or hour-long sessions. And you're like, I'm packing in as many as I can so I can make sure that I achieve my revenue goals or whatever. It's like, that's no way to live. And if anybody watching thinks it is a way to live, like I want to challenge you on, it's no way to live. Not saying that one-on-one isn't good or that you shouldn't make deep transformation in your clients. I know you're probably called to do that, as I am and have been, but it's no way to live. Let's just call it what it is. You would rather know that you had that same amount of money coming in and didn't have to actually do those most of the time, I bet you, if you're really honest with yourself, or that you can make that kind of impact without it having to be relying on your personal time. So
and I
then
think also on that,
yeah.
I just want to add to it because you're like, a lot of times coaches will start with one-on-one, which is amazing. You get intimate, you get to feel like who you want to work with. But I know that people get burned out. Right. And then it almost becomes resentful. And then you're not serving anybody, right? Like you're not serving your family, your clients, or yourself. So I just wanted
exactly. And then becomes some cases like it's worse than a job. That's the word. That's a place I got to, I was saying early on in my story that I jumped out. I had 26 clients, one-on-one practice filled. My calendar looked like Tetris. I was charging like $300 to $400 a month. So I wasn't even at 10K and I was just so tired. And this has persisted for years. And then people would tell me, oh, start a group, and oh, you can just put everybody into a group. It's like, no, you can't. If you promise somebody this particular transformation, like one-on-one, or that you're going to help them in this particular way, you're not going to be like, hey, I decided to start a group, I'm just going to do that instead of our one-on-one. Like, you're not, that's bait and switch. You can't do that. So a lot of people talk about how you can move and transition to group, but nobody really said anything to me that made sense. And so then I learned the product launch model, which is all about, doing all this work to get the word out. And whether it's a series of videos, or if it's, a bunch of emails, JV partners, or Facebook ads, like there's 75 steps before you can actually, get your product in front of the customer. But, it's just one of those things that works. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem is that it is exhausting again. And the worst part is that you feel like, I have to get X amount of clients in by this date, or this thing was a failure, right? Or I'm going to show up to this group coaching where I wanted to have 10, but there's 3, and I have to kind of like, okay, let's do it anyway. Or maybe we should cancel it and I should send their money back, and all this like challenge around the pressure of getting something to be like working on a start date, and finally like completing it and getting great results. So what I'm teaching in this challenge is a new model that some people call it the evergreen group model. I actually call it rolling enrollment, high ticket group program. It's a group program that replaces one-on-one. It's high value. It's actually high touch. Not that you're doing one-on-one with them, but you are personalizing the experience. And you're creating a group program that has no start and end point in itself. Every customer has their own start and end point, and they're on their own 90-day track. And this actually brings back the one-on-one experience to the person within the group setting, because the biggest difference between group and one-on-one is that in one-on-one, an individual is hand-holding you through your goals and holding you accountable to, and in group, you're supposedly following some overarching goal or system that everybody's on. And so that's what doesn't make groups work, is because it's like, if I fall off, if I'm like got stuck in module 2 and we're now in module 3 or 4, a lot of times people go, I got to stop going to the calls because I'm like stuck here and they don't have the help they need. So what if instead the group experience was one in which you got that personalized goal setting, you got personalized support on where you were, you got all your questions answered, but it was done within a group setting. So we're gonna teach you this model about how you can replace your one-on-one, whether you're ready to replace it because you're overwhelmed with one-on-one like I have been in the past, or you really want to build a solid structure that's sustainable for the future. I highly recommend you join us in the 5-day break free from one-on-one challenge that's coming right up. And we're going to be going into the step-by-step and inspiring you on how to do this.
I love it. I love it. And when, so it's open right now for enrollment, right?
Yeah, you can join us right now. It's free, and you just need to go to, and you're going to put the link in, but it's pretty simple. Yeah, I'll leave that in your hands.
Yeah. Yeah. The link is in the chat for YouTube. And then right after the ending of this, I'll put it into Facebook, and it's a very easy link. It's GoRockYourGift.com/challenge.
Yep. And you can just go to rockyourgift.com/challenge too, and it works.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, I want to wrap up here because, we've been chatting for a while, but is there anything you want to share with the audience before we wrap up? Is there anything on your heart these days that you just want to lay out there?
Well, we've been talking about 2 things. We've been talking about the creative piece, and we've been talking about, in this last few moments, really like structural. And what I want to say is that the biggest thing that I think is really important is that there's a lot of people trying to do what you're doing, whatever it is that anyone who's watching is doing. There's a lot. Not that I believe in the competition mindset, because I think that we all can succeed, and we have to really come from a place of creativity and not competition. And I think it's really important that you do think about what is your X factor. What is it that makes you different in your space, and how can you pioneer something? How can you not just model what has come before, but actually innovate? And that's sort of my challenge for everybody in pre-challenge. The challenge is really to ask yourself, what are you going to do that's going to be brave, that's going to bring who you are more than you ever thought you would, like at a level in some cases might be a little bit like vulnerable or uncomfortable, into your business, so that the people, when you're on camera, when you're learning from Keelan, and you're doing, whatever it is that is going to get the message out to your people, that it's unmistakable when your ideal client is watching you, that you're the one for them, because you're so you. What is that you're going to do? What is that next level of bringing your X factor into your business? That's my challenge for you in prep of this challenge, because I think that that's going to be the biggest difference maker for your career if you can get that started
I
now.
love that. And I'm even going to up level a little bit for all of you who are in the Confident Camera community. Make a video with Sean's challenge, answering his call. Because in Confident Camera, I always talk about the steps to confidence are taking courage and mixing it with committed action. So take that courageous step to be you guys. So thank you, Sean. You're awesome. I think
Thank you so
this
much.
challenge is going to be amazing. You guys sign up for it. You're in great hands with him. Get clear, because we all have special gifts. Every single one of us, whether we like it or not. So allow Sean to take you through this. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And have a great day, guys. Happy Friday. Bye.